you? One more time for Paul. Make it loud for him. Getting you guys buttered up. How are you? How are you? You guys are wonderful. I want to apologize to that table right there. I came through the curtain with too much emphasis, and I hit your pizza with my curtain, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that's ever been washed, so I would skip that slice right there. Eat the rest of it, but that one slice, you should leave that one. I came out, I don't know, he said my name, and then there's music, and I've always been a pro wrestling fan, and I was like, and I'm like, oh no. That's how you know I wouldn't be a good wrestler. You're not supposed to break out of character just because you hit someone's pizza with a curtain, you know? You don't see that a lot in wrestling. Like, oh my goodness, are you okay? You're supposed to be like, yeah, and your mother too. Like, that's the energy. And that's not my natural go-to. Those are big Cokes, ladies. I like that. It's like a small pitcher of Coke. Wow, all right. Every night I'm surprised by what people are drinking in the front. There's white wine in a bucket. I love it. Last night someone sat there and they were drinking tea. Just tea. I don't know if that's normal for you, but it was weird for me, all right? It was the late show. It starts at 10 o'clock. I come out, she's pouring tea. Like she's about to read a book by a fireplace or something. And I'm like, all right, I like you guys, though. You guys live your lives the way you want. You got the whole bucket of beer. I love that. You're like, well, I only want to talk to the server once. So, you just drop the bucket off, and we'll see where we get to by the end. I like it, man. I like Calgary. It feels like you guys can do what you want here. You know? Yeah. Drink Coke out of a pitcher. Have tea at midnight. You know? Get a bucket of beer. I like it. It's good. This is my second time coming to Calgary. The first time I came was in 2018, and I didn't see any of it because it was February, and I'm not from cold climates. I grew up in San Diego, where it's 70 degrees all around. I don't know what that is in your weather, but like today, like what you had today, it's like that over there all the time. So I came here, and I didn't know about winter shoes. I just wore my regular shoes. I didn't know there were different degrees of shoes. And apparently my shoes were too thin. The club was downtown. I had to leave the hotel, and my feet were like, no. I had thin socks. I didn't even know they sold thick socks. I learned so much on that trip. Everyone's friendly. Some people you don't want to be friendly in this town. I remember last time I was here, I took the train to get to the club from the hotel, and I was sitting across a guy, a full-grown adult, and he had a bucket of candy. And he's just nibbling on some candy on the train, full-grown, like me, paid his taxes, regular guy, just eating a bucket of candy, and then he looks over at me like, do you want some candy? And I was like, I think I've been trained my whole life for this situation. Like, you ever learn something when you're a kid and then it just flashes back in that moment? You're like, no. And that's exactly how I said no. Like a 6-year-old just got invited into a van. No. Mommy said not to. And he's like, oh, okay. And he was like very polite about it. I was like, I'm still getting off at the next stop. And I don't care how thin these shoes are. But it's nice. I feel bad because I didn't see the city again. Yesterday I got in late, so there wasn't an opportunity. But today I had a plan. I was going to go. I'm a big wrestling fan, and Birthday Man Hart opened a bar in a casino. And I'm like, I'm going to that. And that was my plan. I've been planning this since Monday. I'm like, I am going to go to that bar. I originally wanted to have lunch there, but they don't open till 4. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll leave at 3:30, take an Uber over there, and I'll be the first guy at the bar. That must happen a lot. That's what wrestling, you know? That's most wrestling fans are dorks like me in their mid to late 30s that are like, I'm not over my childhood. I'd like to come in. I won't order much. I'll stare at the walls. And maybe I'll ask small questions, annoying little questions. Does he come in often? Like, just little, does he happen to be in today? I don't. But I ended up not going, because I'm also at the age where I don't want to do anything. You ever do that? You ever take a shower and lay down, and you're like, we're done. And then you look at your watch, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and you're like, we are done. I was so comfortable today, if my room wasn't just right there, I don't think I would have made it to the show. That's how comfortable I was today. I went to the gym, got a little workout, and I went back to and I watched Roadhouse. It was great. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, it was my first. Not the original. I've watched the original many times, but the remake that came out. I know it's a year old, but I'm finally catching up, and it's great. I just like, well, I don't know what it is. I watched the movie, and I just want to slap men now. And like the opening fight, Jake Gyllenhaal just open hands, like 5 guys, and then all the women at the bar like, oh my God. And he was like, another one, you know? And then he took him to the hospital, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. Next person that crosses me, I'm going to give him a little. But you know I wouldn't, you know? It just means I'm going to the elevator now with too much energy, you know? You ever do that? You ever watch like an aggressive movie and then you go out into the real world when people are nice, and now I'm just in an elevator going down from the 6th floor all the way to the 1st with 2 senior citizens just waiting. Just waiting. Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna get a little bit of Zoltan right now? I've been watching Dalton kick some ass. It's my turn. It was weird because it is a manly movie, but he is shirtless most of it. And it's weird because I'm not, but I'm still like, well, don't put a shirt on. You know, like it's that weird in between because he is in such good shape that I'm like, I feel like I'm at a museum looking at like Michelangelo's David or something. And you're like, man, I didn't know. How do you get that part? How do you get that muscle? Is that this machine? You do that a lot? And then no bread? And then this just comes in? How do you get abs on your ribs? That's so impressive. It's hard enough to get them in the front. How do you get them on the side like that? What do you got to do for that? Conor McGregor was in there. He was playing himself, I think. I think he was just being himself. And the opening scene is just his ass for way too long. Like long enough to where I'm like, is this movie for me? Like they just kept zooming. It was almost like the editor was playing a trick on men, like just to see how long they could get straight men to stare at Conor McGregor's butt cheeks. How about this angle? Get the drone. Go around him. Oh. Anyway, it was a very manly afternoon. Watched Roadhouse on the laptop. I had college football on the TV. Then my wife called and I was like, hi, sweetie. You know? It was very manly till right at the end. Man. It was good. I don't like doing anything. I'm not a real go-getter anymore. Pretty comfortable. I just want to be left alone. I think that's my new goal in life. It used to be success, and now I'm like, I just want to be left alone. They're like, do you have what it takes to make it? I'm like, this is enough. I have people come up to me and they're like, oh, it'd be great if you played theaters and you were on Netflix. I'm like, I like it where the club's in the hotel I'm at. I don't know if that's lazy or what that is, but I'm like, I don't know a lot of theaters that have a hotel up top where I can just go wing and then I come down. And I was like, I was just watching Roadhouse. You know? Because it took long enough to get to this level. This is fine, you know. Like everyone here is so nice. The hospitality, like all the servers, the manager over here, he's so nice. They keep bringing me stuff. Like there's so much stuff in that green room. It's like a whole vegetable tray and like dip. I don't even know what kind of dip it is. It's green. It's delicious. It's like green ranch or something. I don't know if they shaved an avocado in there or what they did. But I love it. And I know you guys are like, yeah, isn't that the norm? Isn't that how you're normally treated? No. Usually I'm in a dark room, no light, and it's not even a green room. It's just a shed in the back. And then the manager comes by and hits the door with a stick, and then I come out. Try not to knock anyone's pizza over while I make an entrance. I remember the last time I was in Calgary, I was working at another club. It wasn't this one. And the people that owned it were so mean. They were 2 brothers, and they were mean to me. And they like wouldn't let me order anything off the menu. And then at the end, he made me a plate. He didn't ask me what I wanted. He just put some food together and goes, sit down to eat. And I was like, what is going on right now? Are you teaching me karate? Like, what is this? It's like he just let me out of the basement and he's like, you eat protein now, all right? And then later we're gonna work on abs on your ribs. That's what we're gonna do. Now you gotta be that clip on the internet for the rest of life. I love those clips too. It was a Canada clip that I loved. There's a guy, I'm gonna get this wrong, so maybe you can correct me, but I feel like the National Health Board here in Canada was trying to give like alcohol guidelines to where they were like, hey, drink less alcohol. Like, I think they were like 2 beers a week. That's all you should have. And they interviewed some guy who just came out with a bunch of beer. And they're like, what do you think about the new guideline? He hadn't heard about it. He's like, what? And then I don't know if you guys saw this interview. And they were like, yeah, the new guideline's 2 beers a week. He's like, that's not going to do anything for anybody. He was just so blunt. He's like, 2 beer? That's not even going to do it. And he also said it all Canadian. Like, he didn't say beers, he said beer. Just with the R at the end. He's like, 2 beer? That ain't going to do anything. What's that going to do for you? Nothing. I should be able to have 4 beer in my own home. By the way, why is the government telling me how many beers I can have? He goes on an impromptu rant that is like the alcoholics version of Martin Luther King. It's one of my favorite clips on the internet. And then when the interview's done, like the news person's like, all right, thank you for your time. He's like, wait a second. And he does a trick where he's got a fake tooth, and he pulls his fake tooth down, and you can see it just sticks to his tongue, and he goes, you can't handle the tooth. And he leaps. That's one of your countrymen that I just described. And I think he should be the mayor or whatever. I want to meet that guy. I want to have 2 beer with that guy. My favorite. I love that. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching my video. Is this too close? We're keeping it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, I'm going to be on tour all year, 2024. Might be the last one. So, go to zoltancomedy.com, look at the tour schedule. If you don't see your town, sign up for my mailing list. I promise I'm going to try to come, and I'll see you out there on the road. Thank you.